This is a warning. If you are easily scared, if the sight of blood makes you ill, if you have an unusual fear of trees, deer, demons, deadites, or chainsaws, this game may be too much for you.
Swallow your soul. Similar that if I kick you, your teeth swallow your soul. Get some. Evil dead, yeah. Here's your low. See that boomstick? Get your boom boom click. My flow. Make the room sick and put the 666 below. Got like. This is Necronomica music. What else would you expect from the Necronomica, stupid? Get some. Get some.
Evil Dead, the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about my favorite franchise of all time, because it's got
banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger,
and that's Evil Dead. Now, I'm not going to talk about the movies or anything. I would love to at some point, but I'm talking about Evil Dead the game, and it's platinum. Now, like I said, Evil Dead is my favorite franchise, whether it's the movie or Ash versus movies or Ash versus Evil Dead. So when Evil Dead the game released in 2022, I was pretty ecstatic. I bought it less than a week after it released. Unfortunately, at the time, I only really played games with my 3 or 4 friends in our group, and they didn't like the game. Probably a skill issue. So it fell out of my rotation. I finally came back. I played it on and off every now and then, and I finally came back after 3+ years and got the platinum. So I wanted to give you guys a small guide on how you can platinum it. Hey, so I just woke up and I look different because I'm recording. If I have this in the video, I might not by now. But I forgot to mention, all the developer information and stuff, because I usually do that in my videos. So I just figured I'd do it real quick. I just woke up, might as well get her done before I actually edit it. I have not edited it yet, and I'm on. Today's the day the movie gets released, so I'm going to probably not get it out today. We'll see. But the developer is Saber Interactive, so the game was not ruined by Gun Media, like Texas Chainsaw, Killer Clowns, and Friday, or IllFonic. It's published by Boss Team Games, and it has 45 trophies, the platinum, 1 gold, 15 silver, and 28 bronzes. I think that's it. If I have anything else to add, I will make another edit. So there's 2 ways you can go about getting the platinum. Boosting it. I'm not going to talk about that. That's boring. I thought about talking about it. You guys can figure it out. It's not hard. Or doing it legitimately. Obviously, the boosting method is way easier and shorter. And of course, for both methods, you have to do the tutorials. Or at least one of them. I don't think both are required, but they aren't recommended to figure out the gist of the gameplay. So I would suggest doing both Survivor and Demon tutorials. Now, like I said, I'm only talking about the legitimate method. The boosting method is just straightforward, so if you want to do it that way, completely up to you. I mostly did legitimate, and every now and then I would do a little bit of boosting to get Demon wins, because Demon is very difficult for me. So, first things first, I would suggest playing as Survivor first. Be wary. You're going to have to play as both sides, obviously. So, decide whether you want to start as Survivor or Demon. I might put a timestamp. Or you can just skip through the video and find the Demon part. Is this really going to be a guide? Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think this is going to truly be a guide. I think it's just going to be me talking about the platinum. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, starting with Survivor, like I said, or in my case, mix it up, play as Demon, play like 4 or 5 matches, and then play a couple matches as Survivor, blah, 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 blah. No matter what, whoever you play as, you will earn points, and those points are used to upgrade your Survivor or Demon, whoever you choose. So, first things first, play the game, learn the mechanics of the game, and try to have fun. Try to enjoy the game. You're not going to be a savant at the game immediately. And remember, it's no longer buyable unless you buy a disc. So you're not really going to find new players to learn with you or whatever, or play against somebody who's as bad at the game as you are. So be ready to be bullied by the veterans of the game. It's got a very steep learning curve, so if you don't feel like putting hours into learning that, you should just find the boosting session, because it's going to take you 80 or so hours, probably 70, maybe 30, I don't know. It's going to take you a while to figure out the game. Ooh, sorry, I got the hiccups now. So start by choosing a character or 2 or 3 to level up. I would say do one of each of the 4 classes. It's up to you. But you'll get the soul points to level up whoever you want. You can also basically take the points away, put that person back to 0 or 1, and you can do it to another character. And each character has their own skill tree that you need to level up and get upgrades for, to be permanent upgrades. The 4 classes are Leader, Hunter, Warrior, and Support. And I'm just going to tell you who's in each class, and I'll put an image of their main abilities on the screen or something. I don't know. Feel free to pause it, and basically I'll read out the little blurb as well for the 4 classes. So Leaders. Leaders have special... I already fucked it up. Leaders have specific auras that improve their stats and stats of nearby survivors. They're also more resistant to fear. The leaders in the game are Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV show, Annie Nobi from Evil Dead 2, Lord Arthur from Army of Darkness, Brock Williams from Ash vs. Evil Dead, and Ruby from Ash vs. Evil Dead. Warriors. Warriors have more health and inflict more melee damage. Pretty basic. The Warriors are Ash from Army of Darkness, Mia Allen from Evil Dead 2013, Henry the Red from Army of Darkness, and Scotty from Evil Dead 1. Hunters. Hunters inflict more ranged weapon damage, can carry more ammo, and have slower stamina consumption. The Hunters are Ash from Evil Dead 2, Kelly Maxwell from Ash vs. Evil Dead, Ed Getley from Evil Dead 2, and Amanda Fisher from Ash vs. Evil Dead. And finally, the supports. Support survivors start with a Shem's Cola, which is health, and an amulet, which is armor, and can carry more of these, Shems and amulets. If Shems and amulets are used, survivors in your aura also gain the positive effects. And the support characters are Ash from Evil Dead 1, Cheryl Williams from Evil Dead 1, Pablo Simon Bolivar from Ash vs. Evil Dead, David Allen from Evil Dead 2013, and the Blacksmith from Army of Darkness. So a big thing is to keep an eye out on who your teammates choose. Because if you get a certain group of teammates, you can basically earn trophies pretty quickly. So there's a list of trophies that require a certain lineup of characters. So they are the 4 Horsemen, finish a match with all 4 Ashes. Jacksonville, Here We Come, finish a match with Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead, Pablo, and Kelly. Second team, finish a match with the Evil Dead 2 characters, Ash, Andy Nobi, and Ed Getley. That's the Hunter Ash. And OG Survivors finish with the Evil Dead 1 characters, Ash, Cheryl, and Scotty. And finally, Medieval Mode, finish with Army of Darkness, Ash, Lord Arthur, and Henry the Red. So, for example, for example? You know, there's some characters who were added as DLC, like Amanda, Mia and David Allen. the blacksmith, Brock, and Ruby were all added as DLC, so they're not included in any of the trophies, as far as I can tell, as far as I remember. Quick disclaimer, Amanda was not DLC, she was just an unlockable. So, she just didn't have a trophy tied to her. Fun fact, I wrote I wrote most of this, months ago. Like, if I looked at my file that I have, I wrote out a full script, because back when I very first started, like the first few videos, I wrote full scripts on what I was going to read. Nowadays, I just write down little notes. So I wrote down this entire script for Survivors months ago, and it is currently the 7th of July, 2026. And the movie comes out on the 10th, so I want to get this out by the 10th or the 11th or the 12th, like in this week. So I wrote out most of this back then, and I wrote out the rest of it, mostly for the demon, yesterday, I believe it was, or Sunday. So I just thought you should know that.
We do not care.
So what you want to do as Survivor. So you want to escape 30 times, right? So there's a list of things you need to do. Collect 3 map pages. Well, first of all, you want to collect weapons and ammo, and you want to collect pink F, which is used to upgrade your character. And you'll basically want to put it in the columns that have the most, the most slots. I'll put an example on the screen, but I think a good example is like hunters mostly have ranged damage, like with 4 slots. So you want to put your slots into that, and probably stamina, right? I'll show an example on the screen, but so you want to collect the pink F, which you'll find in boxes, and weapons and ammo. Find as much shemps and amulets that you can, build yourself up, and find the 3 maps pages. Once you find the map pages, you'll be able to go to the Kandarian Dagger and the Lost Pages and their little aura areas, and you basically fill up the bar. And depending on how well you're doing, if the demon, your opponent, is not at level 10 yet, you could probably split these, but that's an elite strategy that I was not good at. I never was able to do this, really. But so you'll collect those 2 items, which you pretty much do them separately, honestly. Then you go to the dark ones and you defeat them, which is just by holding the triangle button, and you shoot a beam at them till they're fully damaged. And then finally, you defend the Necronomicon, which pops up where the dark ones were, and you have to prevent the demon from destroying it. So, like I said, your goal is to win 30 matches and eventually upgrade 1 survivor to level 25. And while you're doing this, you're going to do some miscellaneous things. You'll probably get these done relatively quickly because they're not grindy at all. So you're going to do 10 special attacks, which is basically, I don't remember what button it is, but it's basically like a cutscene attack. You can't get damaged during it or nothing. And this trophy's That's Gotta Hurt. Then Swallow This. Do 10 headshot kills. Fully loaded, upgrade 5 survivor categories. And I think that's fully upgrade, obviously. Or, I don't remember. I'd have to look. Classic Ride. Drive the Delta while playing as Ash. So the Delta is Ash's car, and it's the yellow car in the game. I'm driving here. Honk a car horn. You can I think you can do this as a demon and get the trophy. I'm not 100% sure. Knuckle Sandwich. Kill a deadite with your bare hands. This is pretty easy. And then finally, once you win your first match, you're going to get back to the Deadlands, which is to defeat the Dark Ones. And then, of course, after each match, use your soul points, I think they're called, and upgrade your characters. You can upgrade whoever you want. You can upgrade Demon or Survivor. And you can also take those points and respec them basically, and take them off your current one and put them on someone else if you want. I think it's level 25. It might be level 45 now. Or is that... Oh, wait. I could just check. Sorry. I could just check. Oh, wait. No. Maybe it just says max. Yeah, it says max level. I can't remember what. It's either 25 or 45. And then max character level is 45. Okay. So it might just be 25. We're going to say 25 because I wrote it down. So once you do all that, you should start working on your grindy trophies, right? These are going to be a grind, obviously. So special attacks are basically hitting R3 and it's a finisher, but they don't kill. That's important. But like I said, they do make you immune and all that. So, while working towards your 30 matches, 30 wins, you're going to go for these grindy trophies. So, weapon of choice. Kill 50 deadites with a legendary weapon. These tend to be chainsaws, I think legendary shotguns. Blacksmith can also create legendary weapons, I'm pretty sure. So, if you're playing Ash, look for a chainsaw. They're the orange, by the way. Back from the dead. Resurrect 10 teammates' souls at an altar. So, basically, when your teammate goes down, you can either choose to revive him, or you can let him die, bleed out, and you pick up his soul and you revive him at an altar. Do that 10 times and you get this trophy. Never leave a friend behind. Revived teammates 30 times. Simple enough. Let your teammate get the shit kicked out of him, pick him up. Books from Beyond, collect 20 lost pages. This is guaranteed by the time you get your 30th match, win. By the time you get your 20th match, win. You should get this trophy. Very simple. You could get this way before. You can get this in like 5 games. No, you can get this in, let's see, 3. You can get this in 7 games if you're the one who collects the pages. I think. Don't quote me on that. Just warming up, kill 50 demon elites. So elites are the stronger enemy types. They're probably carrying like shields, or you can tell. They're slightly harder to kill than the basic enemies, which next up is Deadite Slayer. Kill 500 basic enemies, which they'll be running around the map. You can kill them pretty quickly. They take a few hits. Very simple to kill. Who's next, huh? Perform 100 finishers. So, like I said, finishers are like the special attacks, but they fully kill the enemy. Lightbringer. Turn on 50 light sources. So while you're playing, you're going to find matches, and you use the matches at campfires or lanterns, and you light these up and they get rid of your sanity. Or they fill your sanity. They save you. I should say they lower your fear. When you get to a certain fear threshold, the demon can possess you and basically deplete your ammo or damage teammates, blah, blah, blah. Guiding light. Find 300 items with flashlights. So turning on your flashlight, you can ping an item basically, and it'll light up with a little light, with a little shing, I don't know. And roadkill, run over 50 deadites. Be careful, hitting deadites will destroy your car eventually, and you won't be able to use it. So once you reach level 25, you should pop 2 trophies. Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby.
And truly amazing. I hate the way I said that. I'm probably going to replace that with him saying it. With Ash himself saying it. Hail to the king, baby, is reach maximum level with a survivor, and truly amazing is to unlock all of a survivor's unique skills, which are skills on the left side of the screen. When I pop it up, you'll see it. So once you hit your 30 wins, you'll get the trophy Dark 30, and these next trophies probably won't pop it for a minute, depending on how good you are at the game, how good your demon is at the game. Luckily, it's only 2 that I had to boost for, unfortunately, but Who's Laughing Now? Kill 10 boss units. So boss units are the big bads. You know, the demon controls these. For example, it's like Evil Ash from Army of Darkness. Henrietta, the big floating fat Deadite from the first movie, or second movie, sorry. And Ball from Ash vs. Evil Dead. Elagos from Ash vs. Evil Dead. There's one more, but I can't remember who it is. Oh, just a Plague Bringer. I don't even know what the Witch, I think, is what she'd be. But once you have to personally kill these enemies. And the last trophy I earned, which I do actually have this on video or recording, I think. Boss of Bosses. Kill 20 boss units. My final trophy before I got the platinum. By the way, fun fact. These are actually both my final trophies, I should say. As I'm looking, most Roadkill, Dark 30, Who's Laughing Now, and Boss of Bosses were the last 4 trophies I got for the platinum. I just guess I was not running over demons. That's funny. Okay, sorry. So, now that you're done with these Survivor trophies, we're going to move on to the Kandarian Demon. But like I said, you can play both to mix up your experience and not get burnt out. So you have 5 demons to choose from. The Schemer, who would be Baal from Ash vs. Evil Dead. The Plague Bringer, who is the Witch from Army of Darkness, I think is what she'd just be. The Necromancer, who would be Evil Ash from Army of Darkness. The Puppeteer, who would be Elagos from Ash vs. Evil Dead. And the Warlord, who would be Henrietta from Evil Dead 2. So the Schemer demon marks survivors when they trigger its traps, increasing the damage taken and their fear level. Additionally, it can place scare traps anywhere on the map. So normally you can only put scare traps in certain spots. The Plaguebringer can infect survivors with Blight, not the one from Dead by Daylight, which inflicts damage over time and increases the Plaguebringer's own infernal energy. The Warlord demon buffs the evil units around it, increasing the damage they deal and reducing the damage they receive. The Puppeteer is a master of possession, able to control the minds of both human and evil hosts and enhance their threat to the survivors. And finally, the Necromancer demon can summon a skeleton flautist. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a flute guy. Or a whatever. It cannot defend itself or move, but increases the damage dealt and reduces all damage received by all evil units who hear its music. A flautist. I don't know how to pronounce it. So, you got the Skeleton Army, the Elagos Demon Army, the Henrietta and her cunts, a bunch of witches and ugly things, and Ball and his little skinned men. I used the Necromancer. Ball and the Plaguebringer, by the way, were DLCs, along with, Ruby, Brock, and all them. So I actually did not play Ball or the Plaguebringer. I mostly played the Necromancer. So each demon does have their own play style, so don't be afraid to experiment and find your own main. And basically, as the demon, you're going to be setting traps and upgrading yourself using infernal energy to prevent the survivors from doing their tasks. And eventually you want to either kill them or run them out of time, or destroy the book when it gets to that, if it gets to that point. Longer the match goes, you both get stronger. So yeah, that's a given. Playing the demon, you're going to be working towards winning 30 matches, which is way easier said than it's actually done. While you're mastering your demon, you're going to be doing these miscellaneous trophies. Handshake. Hide Ash's hand in a chest and scare a survivor who opens it. So you can put either little mini Ashes or his hand in chests. This is RNG based for the most part. You want to put it in places where they're going to look. In your first match, most likely you're going to earn I may be bad, but I feel good, which is fully upgrading 4 categories using your Infernal points, which are basically the same as Pink F. You're probably going to get this in your first match, maybe your second or third, depending on how good you do. Possessions tend to be a big part of playing Demon. They are the main part. You do not get to do anything unless you're possessing something. So you're going to use your points to possess cars, your troops, trees, and even survivors. So the first thing you want to do is make like a tree, possess a tree, and hit 2 survivors at once. This is, like I said, this is one of those easier said than done, because survivors tend to split up quite a bit. You'll get it eventually, though. You can't outrun evil. Run over a survivor with a possessed car. So those are the 2 possessions of objects. Then you're going to start grinding out possessing 10 survivors for Join Us. And eventually, while you're playing, you'll kill a survivor with a possessed survivor. For 1 by 1, we will take you. Now you're going to want to start possessing your troops. You want to do 10 bosses, 25 elites, and 50 basics. This is going to come this will come no matter what. It's very quickly. So the 10 bosses is Be the Boss, 25 elites is Control Freak, and 50 basics is Puppet Master. Now, by now, you should have your demon of choice pretty highly leveled. If not, go ahead and max that summon gun out for the trophy We Shall Be Again. And if there's 2 more trophies left. Effortless Evil, which involves winning without possessing a boss unit. This is tricky, but it's vital to not upgrade your boss. So you just want to make it so that you do not have to worry about accidentally summoning him. And finally, once you get your 30 wins, you should get Armageddon. And of course, this will pop Savior and Destroyer, your platinum. Sorry if this video is kind of a mess. It's not really much of a guide, it's more of just me yapping. But your results for this platinum is going to vary, you know. I think it's a great game. I think it's very fun. It's not my favorite asymmetrical horror game. I think it's because I'm not a big fan of fighting, you know, troops of enemies, I guess. You know, I'm not huge on games like I'm not huge on zombies. So, you know, I'm playing Resident Evil right now, so we're gonna see if that lasts. But yeah, I think this game is fun. It's a hugely fantastic take on the asymmetrical genre, honestly. You know, it's not Dead by Daylight where you're a victim for the most part. You can fight back. I'm gonna go ahead and get this into the tier list, and yeah, that's about it for now. Let's go. All right, like I said, here we are. We got our platinum list. Another quick platinum recap. We got Auto Pop. I actually changed the colors. This one's pink for no reason. We got Dead by Daylight PS5, which was an Auto Pop. Would delete these from my platinum list. We got Street 10, Population Quiz, Paku Paku, Anomaly Pool, Spectre Woods, Road Bustle, Chickens of the Road, My Name is Mayo, all 4 of them, and Hitman Go. We have No, I would not platinum these again. I changed this one to a bronzish color, you know. This one's kind of a silver. I mean, I guess we got to go with that one. No, which would be just, I wouldn't platinum these again, but I wouldn't delete them. I don't regret them. You know, Newtonian Inversion, that one's somewhat of a difficult game to do. Horror Pinball, just because it's pinball and that's fun. Don't Touch That Button. 5Es, because Yahtzee's great. Lady in the Leotard with a Gun, and Lizard Lady versus the Cats. I don't know why I wouldn't. Those ones are just funny to have, I guess. 50-50 chance I would platinum these again. There's like a maybe, you know, I'd have to debate on it. And if I get the boys to play, we got the original Rainbow Six Siege, mostly because of the gold trophy, hitting gold. DBD, most because I've played it so much. I would put that up here, actually. Let me move that back up here. Conan Exiles, just because It's just, I would need an incentive. And Dragons in Space, because this is an enjoyable game. And then we got, I changed this one to a goldish color, probably wood platinum. I would prefer an incentive to do it though. We got the new Siege. This one looks like it, Siege X, which looks like a decent platinum, which is technically the PS5 version, and I did this one on PS4, basically. It looks decent. I'm actually going to move that down here. And now we got DBD. I'd probably do that one over Siege X. Elden Ring, I would prefer an incentive to do that one, but I would still do it. Probably. And Rogue Company, I think that one in its prime. I'm going to base some of these like online games like in their prime, you know. Then, of course, Wood Platinum, we get in a heartbeat. Turn this one to a platinum type color. And we got Marvel Rivals, which I love that game. So now let's move Dead by Daylight into the, or Evil Dead into the equation. I actually just got this one. It's definitely one of the top two. I think in its prime. If I did this in its prime, it would 100% go here. But I don't know if I'd want to do 30 wins over and over again, you know. So I think I'd put it in here. I would want an incentive. I would want to have people watch me play it on stream, you know. But it's definitely fighting to get into this top one, you know. Ooh, it's a 50-50 shot. I think I'll put it in Wood Platinum again in a heartbeat. Because it's a fun game. However, because of the servers right now, I would not. There's no servers, really. If this game was in its prime, 100% would. That's what I'm going to go with. Alright. Thanks for watching, and hope to get the next video out soon. Sorry these take so long. But catch you on the flip-flop. Peace.